Quite a few of you wanted to hear about the time that I pulled a senior prank, aka the ketchup bandit story, so story time. My senior prank came into existence solely because I was petty. See, the high school I went to for my senior year was the most backwoods, bullshit, country bumpkin kind of high school I've ever been to, and I've been to 4. Like, they had rules for which stairs you could go up or down on. You got an entire new set of classes every quarter. And to top it all off, senior year was kind of the year that I just gave up. I didn't really care what anybody thought of me because I was just done. Anyways, picture this. It's free period. Every day, the entire school got 1 hour for free period where you could do whatever you wanted. That was the time to have lunch, do activities, go to clubs, things like that. So I'm sitting at lunch. I'm enjoying myself. I am enjoying my one break of the day. And then all of a sudden over the intercom I hear, all seniors must report to the gym. All seniors must report to the gym. Y'all had to take my one fucking break. Okay, great. And we weren't allowed to eat in the gym. So I had to throw out the rest of my lunch and go to gym. Anyway, senior class arrives at the gym. We're all sat there kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Not really sure what's happening. And then the principal walks out. And I think, oh, great, this is going to be one of those don't do drugs at prom announcements, isn't it? That's what I had to lose my lunch for. Fuck me. So the principal comes out and goes, all right, boys and girls, I have something very important I need to talk to you about. And I was like, I'm sure you think you do. I'm sure it's not going to be as important as you think it is, but carry on. He goes, I know it's senior year. It's the year to have fun. It's the year to relax and be yourselves. I understand that. But this school has been prank-free for 10 years, and we're going to keep it that way. Do I make myself clear? And I'm sat up in the bleachers like, really? You took away my free period for this? To address a problem you haven't had for 10 years? You done fucked up. Now you're having a prank this year, motherfucker. And you think that'd be the end of it? No. No, he kept us for 30 fucking minutes, talking about how we as students should have pride in our school and we should protect our school from the ravages of prankers. You for real? You for serious, my guy? What the fuck? I spaced out like 5 minutes after he told us we weren't allowed to prank, and that's what the assembly was about. I just checked the fuck out and started plotting a prank, because fuck that guy. See, I'd never pulled off a school prank, but I needed to do something that, 1, couldn't be traced back to me, 2, would keep people talking about it for a while, 3, wasn't destructive enough to warrant police involvement, and 4, was free, because I was a broke bitch. So when the assembly ended, I went back to lunch, hopefully to get some more food, because I was annoyed that my food had been ruined, and as I was in the lunch line, I saw ketchup packets, and suddenly, an idea. So as you probably guessed from the story title, my prank involved ketchup. And at the time, I was still femme presenting, so I had access to the women's restroom. So as quickly and discreetly as I possibly could, I grabbed a shit ton of ketchup packets. And then I went around to each of the girls' toilets and folded ketchup packets and put them under the seats, so when people sat on them, it would shoot ketchup at the back of your knees. And I thought, that's great. Nobody gets hurt. The worst that'll happen is you have like a stain you have to get out in the wash, and everyone will think it's funny. Like, perfect. That's not what happened. Yeah, no, people were pissed. Like, really pissed. It didn't go over as well as I thought it would. I didn't realize how poorly the prank had been received until the next day at lunch. I realized there weren't any ketchup packets in the lunch line, and I thought, that's a bit odd, but maybe they just ran out. Maybe they were waiting for a new shipment. Until an announcement came over the intercom. The vice principal came over the intercom and said, attention students, you're probably wondering why there aren't any ketchup packets in the lunch line. And I thought, yes I am. Please elaborate. And she continued on to say, there was a malicious attack on the girls' bathrooms yesterday, and until the perpetrator comes forth, there will be no more ketchup in this school. I was stunned. I sat there at my table looking at my sad ketchupless hot dog and thought, this means war. So I whipped out my phone and texted my mom, you're not going to believe what just went down. Side note, I had told my mom I was pulling the senior prank, and she thought it was hilarious. She responded with, what's wrong? What happened? And I said, they took away the ketchup. They confiscated the ketchup. The ketchup is now contraband, and I'm pissed. And my mom was like, yeah, that seems like a bit of an overreaction. They probably should punish the whole school for the acts of one person, but, what are you going to do? And I was like, this means war. I have to enact my revenge. She was like, well, what do you want to do? There's not much else you can do at this point except confess. And I was like, no. I need to make a statement. I need to make this burn as much as them taking away my ketchup has burned me. And then I was hit with the most brilliant idea. I texted her again and I said, Mom, I know what I want to do. And she said, do tell. And I said, I want to write in giant letters made of ketchup, catch me if you can, on the sidewalk in front of the school. And you know what my mother's response to that was? You should spell it Ketch, like ketchup. Take my credit card and go to Walmart. So I did. So with my mother's blessing and her credit card, I make a beeline to Walmart after school, and I purchase 2 of the 64-ounce bottles of ketchup. Ketchup secured, I head home and nap until about 12 o'clock that night, where I get up and start getting ready to enact my revenge. I throw my 2 gigantic bottles of ketchup into my Doctor Who backpack, which I never took to school, donned a pair of black jeans and a black hoodie, complete with a black t-shirt, tie my hair back in a high ponytail so that it'll be hidden by my hood when I pull it over, and then I head to the living room and say, all right, Mom, I think I'm ready. I'm going to head out. And she goes, all right, don't get caught. And so I leave. I hop in my car and start driving. Now, because I'm ADD and I'm absolutely shit with directions, I do this thing where I create little mental landmarks, where I assign a location to a specific tree or storefront that lets me know I am in the vicinity of certain things. And because of this, I knew that just down the road from the school was an abandoned Mexican restaurant. So once I got a bit closer, I switched off my headlights and turned into the Mexican restaurant's parking lot and parked behind the building so that nobody could see my car from the road and nobody could see it from the school's parking lot. Then I stowed my phone in the glove box because the last thing I needed was a rogue phone to alert the guards. I grabbed my backpack, locked my car, stowed my keys in my pocket, and darted across the 4 lanes that separated me and my victory. Once across the street, I ducked into this little patch of wooded area that wasn't owned by anybody, so it was just overgrown and unkept and perfect for hiding in. And I sat there and I waited and I watched until I concluded it was safe. And once I was sure that nobody would catch me, I sprinted out of the bushes and pressed myself up against the wall of the school just to make sure that nobody from the road would see me. Then I shimmied my way down the wall until I got to the part where if I turned the corner, I would be in front of the school, but the entire school front was lit, which meant I had to cover about 500, maybe 600 feet of open, lit space where I was just exposed. So I set down my backpack, took out one of my ketchup bottles, took a deep breath, and fucking booked it to the front doors. As soon as I got there, I uncapped the ketchup bottle, thankful I had taken off the stupid little safety tab at home, and quickly wrote out my message in ketchup and then sprinted back to the darkness. It was then I realized I had about a bottle and a half of ketchup left, so I went and hit 3 more locations in the school. I went and wrote my message at the back entrance where all of the kids who got dropped off by their parents would enter the school. Then, feeling emboldened and powerful by managing to pull this off twice, I went and did it in front of the freshman entrance as well. And then, just as quickly as I came, I vanished back into the thicket, where I waited until I was sure there were no cars coming and then darted across the street back to the Mexican restaurant and got in my car. Headlights still off, I quickly pulled into the Mexican restaurant and booked it home. Where upon arrival, my mother said, "Did you complete your mission?" And I said I did, and she said, "That's my kid." The next day, I got up, put the ketchup bag in the house because that wasn't coming to school with me, and headed off to class. And upon arrival, I realized they were doing car checks. Both the principal and the vice principal were stationed in front of the school, and in order for you to be allowed into the school, you had to get out of your car and let them search it for contraband. But I'd already stashed the evidence, so they didn't find anything and they let me in. Unfortunately, I did later get caught. You see, on the day of the initial prank, I had told a couple of girls who I thought I was friends with, evidently not, that I was going to plant these mini ketchup bombs and that they should, look before they sit. They ratted me out to the fucking principal. That alone wasn't enough to get me caught. What ended up being the final nail in my coffin is I had brought ketchup packets to school in a chip bag because I wanted to have ketchup with my hot dog at lunch that day. I was also already on thin ice because I had glitter bombed my IEP teacher. Anyways, at the end of first period, I'm pulled into the principal's office, and the principal, the vice principal, the truancy officer, and my IEP teacher are all standing there glaring at me, and I'm like, ugh, what did I do? I mean, I know what I did, but what do you think I did? Fuck. They interrogated me for 20, 30 minutes in this tiny office, surrounded by people bigger than me, screaming at me, until it triggered an anxiety attack because my PTSD is linked to being trapped in a small space, and through tears, I told them whatever they wanted to hear just to get them to stop and confess. So they called my mother to inform her that I was the ketchup bandit. I was no longer allowed to walk at graduation, I was not going on the senior field trip, and I was not allowed at the senior after graduation party because it had taken their janitors 3 hours to clean up ketchup. To which my mother responded, "Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me get this straight. You took a child who has severe anxiety and PTSD linked to small spaces and police and stuck him in a small room surrounded by 3 adults and a policeman and interrogated him for 30 minutes until he cried and confessed. Is that what I'm hearing here?" She said that sounds like intimidation, abuse of power, and neglect. My principal sputtered in response and said, "But we have to punish him somehow." And she said, "No, by all means, punish him. But here's how the punishment is going to go. He is going to walk. He is going to go on the senior trip. And he is going to go to the after graduation party. All you're allowed to do in this situation is put my child in ISS and let him finish his art project for his final. Anything beyond that, and I will sue you." And so that's what happened. I got stuck in ISS to finish my art project.